All right, it is now welcome to everybody. Everybody missing Danny Roberts. I guess we'll wait. He's coming. All right, it is now 6:30, and welcome. We got a good crowd here today. Welcome to our council meeting for Thursday, September 10th, 2020. Let's go ahead and stand up. And Mr. Pastor Manu is gonna lead us in prayer.
Let me read this scripture. Psalm 33, verse 1. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Lord, this is your word. That when a nation chooses you, that nation is considered blessed. In God we trust. That is why this nation is blessed among all the nations around the world. The word of the Lord can never lie. Everything shall pass away, but my word shall stand forever. So my God, we are here for this meeting, for this nation, for this city. Father, let your blessings be upon the council, and all those people here in this auditorium, my God. Let your presence fall upon this place. We are in a difficult time in our life than never before. So unless, Lord, you build a house, we will never invest. So we ask you, Lord, to come and show us what we need to do. Bless our meeting tonight, Lord. Let there be peace. And let them talk. And everything we do, let us do it in the name of the Lord. In Jesus Christ's mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Manu. Let's go ahead and get your hands over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, you may be seated. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We got the coming down to the mayor and council items. We got the consent agenda. These are items that we talked about on Monday, this past Monday. And I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
We do need to amend the agenda.
Okay.
I will have something to report on this evening, specifically a report on investigation. So if we could add that to the agenda and then adopt it.
Okay. With that being said, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. To amend the agenda.
Yes, please.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion on the amend of the agenda? No? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right. The agenda has been amended. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. And going back to the consent agenda, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, the consent agenda has been approved. All right, now we have a couple of proclamations. This is one of my favorite parts where we recognize folks here for their job well done. We have one for building baby brains. Anybody for that? All right, well, I guess I'll be reading it. And we also got one for support Latino businesses. By the way, we got a great Latino here. He's going to talk about himself in just a minute. But we got a great gentleman here. But I'm going to go ahead and read it out now. Okay. All right, Building Babies Brains Day. You want me to repeat that again? Here we go. Building Babies Brains Day. Whereas as children's brains are 90% developed by age 5, and the number of words spoken to a child before age 5 significantly increase the opportunity for success in schools. And whereas every elementary school in Gwinnett County has students who start school underprepared, with 52% of children arriving without the prerequisite skills for kindergarten. And whereas without early interventions, kindergartners fall further and further behind their peers, making it nearly impossible to catch up by the time they reach third grade. And whereas early brain development is a key factor in lowering dropout rates and moving a student from dropout to graduate yield higher tax revenues and lower government expenditures over their lifetime. And whereas establishing community awareness of early brain development is in children under 5 is vital to our community's success. And whereas children exposed to positive early reading, singing, and talking by caregivers are less likely to have academic and behavioral problems in school. Now, therefore, I, Ray Martinez, on behalf of the City of Loganville, do hereby declare September 25, 2020 as Building Babies Brains Day in Gwinnett County. I encourage all residents to mark their calendar by September 25 to visit buildingbabiesbrains.com on the website, launch day, and learn more about resources and opportunity to enhance brain development in children under the age of 5. Signed this day, this 10th day of September 2020, Ray Martinez, Mayor. Thank you. All right. Now the other one. National Support Latino Business Day. So we're just full of days. You got to build brains and businesses too. Whereas the city of Loganville is a diverse city of entrepreneurs and trailblazers with an increasing Latino population, leading a growing and thriving Latino business community. Whereas in that spirit, our city recognizes the unique contributions of the Latino community during this Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts next week. Celebrations through support of Latino businesses, a rallying cry for diverse partners, including community organizations, elected officials, business leaders, and owners, entrepreneurs, to celebrate the significant economic contributions Latino-owned businesses make, the jobs they help create, and the positive impact they bring to our community and beyond. Whereas the city of Loganville is joining communities across the country for the inaugural Support Latino Businesses Day to acknowledge and encourage support for our Latino-owned businesses. I guess you guys know where I'm going to be this weekend, right? We got a few Mexican restaurants around town, right? Let's go support our Mexican restaurants and every other restaurants. Now, therefore, I, Ray Martinez, Mayor of the City of Loganville, do hereby proclaim September 14, 2020 as National Support Latino Business Day in the City of Loganville and commend its observance of all citizens. Witness my hand on the official seal of the City of Loganville, Ray Martinez, your mayor. Thank you. And let's support our small businesses, right? Kyle? Thank you. All right. Okay. And I should have stayed up there, but I guess I just like to walk and get the exercise. So we're going to go ahead. Chairman Bill Duvall from Public Utilities, please join me. And if you want, City Manager Danny Roberts. We got our plaque. Chris Yancey. Come on up, my friend.
So, as you all know, last month, Chris announced his retirement from the city of Loganville after almost 24 years with us. Last week, we had a little gathering for Chris, and employees and council and mayor came and had a sad farewell bye to him, but he's not going far. You'll see on the agenda, we'll have hopefully a contract be approved so Chris can help Brandon and myself continue the many projects that Chris has started, and some have been many years in the making, and he's agreed to help the city as he always has. And with that, Chris, we got you a little small token of our appreciation from the mayor and council, myself, and I believe Brandon's going to present one from the employees of your department, or your former department, I should say. So with that, thank you, Chris, for your hard work and dedication, always keeping us water flowing and the sewer going the opposite way. So we appreciate it. So thank you. Mayor Bill, yeah, y'all want to say anything?
On behalf of the mayor, it's been a pleasure for the last 10 years working on you've done extraordinary things for the city, and we look forward to working with you and better and bigger pastors in the future, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Congratulations on a fine job, and good luck with your future endeavors, Chris. Keep in touch.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. And just so you all know, I know you know, but the public, so Brandon has been, I appointed Brandon as the new Public Utilities Director. So if y'all have any complaints, this is your new man to talk to. So welcome to the club. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, now we're coming down to our committee / department reports. Coming down to planning and development, Chairwoman Lisa Newberry.
Thank you, Mayor. We have two cases to hear tonight. I'd like to call Tim Prater up to the podium. And those of you that don't know, Tim is the director of our planning and zoning department.
There it is. First item we have on the agenda is R20-006. The applicant is Merritt Properties Incorporated. The property owner is Merritt Properties Incorporated. The mountain parcel number is LG100160. The present zoning is CH. The requested zoning is light industrial. The address is 76 Bay Creek Road, and it's 2.48 acres, and the applicant is here if y'all have any other questions.
We have any questions?
Yeah, does anyone have any questions? Anyone from the audience? No? Okay, with that being said, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the zoning from CH to LI for case number R20-006.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion, correct?
Yes.
We have a second. Any other discussion from the council? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
The next item we have is V20-007. The applicant is Brad Cooper from Blue River Development. The property owner is Jeremy Dupree. The parcel number is LG100157. The current zoning is R16. The address is 344 Covington Street. It's 1.41 acres. And I don't know if anybody's here from Blue River or not. I think they said they were going to be out of town this week, so.
Okay.
Okay, we discussed it on Monday again. Any questions from the mayor and council? Any questions from our guests? Okay, with that being said, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the variance asking for a reduction in the minimum lot width from 100 feet to 93.10 feet.
Got it. So we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion on this from the council? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion's been carried.
Okay, next up, we have 3 vacant positions on our Planning Zoning Commission, and we've got 6 applicants. I do want to make mention that Ms. Melissa Arnold has withdrawn her application and resigned her current position on the commission due to health reasons. She is a true public servant at heart, and she's done a lot of good stuff for the city, and we appreciate her and hate to see her have to resign. If you do pray, please keep her in your prayers. So that leaves us with 5 applicants that are here tonight. And the council last month decided that the Planning and Zoning Committee would meet and come up with our recommendations. So our recommendations are for Ms. Amanda Sosby, Ms. Alma Thomas, and Mr. Brian Linkus. This is a recommendation only, it's not a vote. So now the floor is open for the council to make a vote.
Lisa, I would like to nominate Amanda Sosby.
All right. So we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
Second.
Amanda? We have a second. All in favor for Amanda Sosby, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
All right, 5-1. The appointment has been passed. If Amanda all the way in the back. Congratulations, ma'am. There you go. All right. By the way, I will be doing the swearing in at the next planning and zoning meeting before you guys start, correct? All right. All right.
And I'd like to make the nomination that we vote in Ms. Alma Thomas.
Alma Thomas.
I'll second that.
We have Alma Thomas. We have a second. All in favor for Alma Thomas, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right. Alma Thomas will be the second one. Congratulations, Alma Thomas. And one more. One more.
I'll make a motion to nominate Brian.
Linkus.
Linkus, there you go.
Linkus.
Got your name right.
All right. We have a nomination. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor for Brian Linkus, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right. So Brian Linkus. Oh, one. 5-1. Your nomination has been passed, 5-1. Congratulations, my friend. We'll be doing the swearing in at our planning and zoning this month. All right.
And I want to say thank you so much to Ms. Luttrell and Ms. Long for your application and your interest. Y'all stay involved. We encourage you to stay involved. We've got plenty of things around the city we need help with. So again, y'all stay involved. Okay, and the next thing is for Tim Prater to come up and give us an update on code enforcement.
I was asked just to give a update on numbers for the Code Enforcement Office. Since January 1st, Code Enforcement has written 180 notices of violation. They have closed 147 of the 180 and issued 11 court citations.
Closed how many?
147 out of the 180, January. And that's all I have.
Any questions?
I have
about code
one.
enforcement?
Tim, is this for like yard getting overgrown, people
Yes.
not knowing to throw stuff away? What, is there a percentage of what this is more about?
No, I don't have it broke down into what categories the violations were written at.
Okay.
I
Maybe you
just
can
have
provide
a
that
total
for us next
number.
month? Next month? Provide that for us next month?
Yes.
I just want to know if we're dealing with people not cutting the grass, trash, cars in the yard.
All of the above?
Yeah, I'd just like to see a breakdown.
Okay.
Thank you.
And do we have any questions from our guests here tonight? Okay, Tim, thanks for keeping code enforcement going, and tell Josh we appreciate him too.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Coming down to finance/economic development, Chairwoman Nance Hudson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of things. We need to formally adopt the millage rate, which has gone from, as a rollback, from 11.85 to 11.838. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this millage rate.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the millage rate? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Millage rate has been adopted, 6-0.
The second thing I just want, that's still on the agenda, is the credit rating update. We talked about this on Monday, that we have an AA3 tax credit rating update. And the only reason that we didn't qualify for an AA2 is because our tax base is too small. Yeah. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, I don't have to motion anything on that, right?
No.
Okay. Moving right along, the Walton Cares Act, the budget amendment. We talked a little bit about this as well on Monday. At the time, I think we'd gotten 143. We had asked for an additional 259K. Is that right? And now we've actually received it.
No, we
So-
received 154 and then an additional
359. So we have to, I need to make a motion to amend the budget to the 359,874.64 for fiscal year 2021 to reflect that we have received that money for the CARES Act.
All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Lisa Newberry. Any discussion on this from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, like sign. All right, motion's been carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Chairwoman Ann Hunsinger. Coming down to public safety, Chairman Jay Bolin.
Thank you, Mayor. No items tonight. Everything was in the consent agenda.
All right, do you, 911,
Do you want to talk about the luncheon we have?
the luncheon?
Yeah, do you want to talk about the public safety luncheon? That we did?
All right, we
Yeah,
just
I
had,
didn't have time.
we had a public safety luncheon yesterday, right? And it was well attended by our employees, and I want to thank every single one of our public safety folks and all the employees. Tomorrow will be the 19th anniversary of what happened in our country. It was devastated, and I know we have a couple public safety folks here, Chief Valley, Mr. Greg Warnack, and I tell you, please let's not forget. It seems like yesterday where, it's one of those events that we know exactly where we were when this happened at 9 in the morning. And let's not forget, especially tomorrow and every other day that passes. With that being said, I want to address something real quick that's becoming a little, and I wanted to bring it up during public safety, and I'm seeing it out here, and we're not going to tolerate it. I am not going to tolerate it, and I've already instructed my police department to, if they catch the folks, to apprehend them and do whatever possible. But I am noticing, I'm getting some emails from residents, and I'm getting more and more, where they are walking into their homes and stealing signs. That's against the law. You're trespassing when, and I don't care what kind of signs. I know it's a political season, and I know there's homes out there that have signs, whatever they happen to go for, but we will not tolerate anybody going to another person's home, trespassing and vandalizing and removing signs. So I've already instructed these folks that have emailed me to please put a camera there, and if we recognize these folks and we catch them, we're going to take action, right? Right, folks? Because that is not tolerated. It may happen in some other cities, but it's not going to happen in our city. All right? So anyway, I just want to bring that up during public safety.
Assistant Chief Law, real quick, do you want to comment, or can you say as much as you can about the gun store that got broken into?
Yes, sir.
We had Deaton's Gun Shop was burglarized early Saturday morning. We do have several leads that we are working along with. Duluth Police Department had a very similar situation, and we have linked those together. The ATF is working very closely with us. They do have a number of leads that they're following. We were fortunate that they did not get as many guns at John's store as they did in Duluth. In Duluth, they got over 50 guns. Total at our store was 9. And we're very committed. Not only is John a longtime business owner here in Loganville, but he is a friend to everybody that works for us, and we're doing everything that we can to try to clear that up. And Mr. Bolden, if I could, I talked to Mr. Roberts earlier. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here on Monday, and I know that things were on the consent agenda, but after talking with Danny, there were some questions about why we were buying these replacement duty weapons and not doing it locally, and that's a legitimate question that I think I can answer pretty quickly. So, John Deaton does sell Smith & Wesson firearms, which is what we use. But John is not a Smith & Wesson law enforcement distributor. And that makes a significant difference in the purchase price. Mr. Deaton actually can't even buy them to sell. It's about $45 more per gun, his cost, than what we're able to buy them for. He is also not in a position, because of the size of his business, to take in 32 trade-in farms and give us trade-in credit for that, which then reduces what we're actually going to pay for the guns. In addition to that, the holsters, the magazine pouches, all the other things that go along with this purchase, Clyde Armory is the only law enforcement distributor for Smith & Wesson in the entire state of Georgia. So all of the other items that are not made by Smith & Wesson, they are a distributor for all of those lines, and it's roughly anywhere from 10 to 15% difference when you buy it from a law enforcement distributor. So based on what John himself told me he could do, it would actually cost us about $11,000 more to do it through him. Now, in full disclosure, if I told everybody in here how much I personally have spent with John Deaton, somebody's going to have to let me sleep on the couch. But in kind of along the same lines with the vehicle purchase, what we've run into with patrol vehicles, and it is fully related to the COVID crisis. All of the plants shut down. The council last year approved the purchase of 3 Dodge Charger patrol vehicles. We placed that order the next day, I think, and we are at a year now, then we still haven't taken delivery of those vehicles. So the reason we are doing kind of a shuffleboard with putting a couple of cars in CID and then taking 2 cars that are suitable to be lettered and things like that and using those for the SROs is we're in a strange position that we've never been in. No other law enforcement, normally law enforcement agencies are in a position where plenty of cars are available and they don't have money to buy them. And now we have money available to buy them through drug seizures, the SPLOST, and budgeted funds, and we just can't buy patrol cars. So that's the reason that we did that. And the cars that we are buying are at the state contract price. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Lowry. Last but not least, Mayor, I would like to introduce Gwinnett County Sheriff Lou Solis to the podium. He is running for election here in about 70-something days.
Candidate.
Oh, he's candidate.
Candidate.
Well, I'm getting ahead of myself because that'll tell you who I'm going to vote for right there. But anyways, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, just real quick. The current sheriff, Butch Conway's been there for many, many years. And he is the candidate to replace Butch Conway, correct? Chief Deputy.
Yes,
Deputy.
I am. So just to make it real easy, I'm the second guy in charge of the sheriff's office right now. We have close to 900 employees. We have a budget that's ungodly. And we deal with everything from, you name it, we deal with it. We run the jail, we run the, and if you've never, and I don't mean this in a funny way, if you've never been to the jail to visit it, you're more than welcome. If you're a citizen of Gwinnett County, please come to the jail. They'll give you a tour. I was asked about COVID. I will tell you right now, the safest place right now is in the middle of that jail. We have it broken down really. It's unbelievable the staff of how we got it broken down and as far as how safe it is in there. But I will tell you real quick, I've been in Gwinnett County for 21 years. My wife and I both retired out of the military. She'll tell you she did 21 years. She brags about it. I did 20. And I will tell you that we chose Gwinnett as our home. I still have a home in D.C. I'm not from D.C. My wife is, but my family is from Mexico, and I am Hispanic, and I speak it, read it, and write it. And I say that's a curse because every time something comes up, I'm the guy that's translating. And and when you get behind the not the podium, but when the judge starts asking you questions, then they start actually, how do you know Spanish? And it gets really weird. But I spent 20 years in the military. I got out. I went to the Marietta Police Department. After the Marietta Police Department, I spent some time in the State Department. My last duty station was Abu Dhabi. I think the chaplain was here. I spent some time in Botswana, not as a Spanish speaker, but and after Botswana, or after Abu Dhabi, I went to Brazelton. I was assistant chief there for almost 11 and a half years. The sheriff tried to recruit me 3 times. I said no. The 4th time I said yes. So I've been there at the sheriff's office for 3 years. So the sheriff's office, I would tell you, it's a unique place. So the sheriff helps everybody. Anybody calls, Loganville calls, anybody calls, the sheriff says, go help them. The only place we have not gone to is to Atlanta. We didn't go help Atlanta because the one thing that we wanted to make sure is that if anything happened, that none of our guys were going to get prosecuted in Atlanta. And that's the plain truth. But what a lot of people don't know is the Wendy's. Everyone knows the Wendy's burnt down. The lady that burned it down, our guys are the guys that caught her. And a lot of people don't know that. We have a fugitive squad, and we catch a lot of really bad people. The fugitive squad goes out every day, and we try to keep Gwinnett safe. And I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but the guy that shot his wife in the face, we caught that guy. And he was complaining about the handcuffs being too tight on. And I couldn't believe that he complained about that. But he made a formal complaint, too. It went through my office. It'll settle real quick. After the, but we do have a lot of stuff that goes on at the sheriff's office. We do have GJAC, which we run the courthouse as well. So we provide security for you at the courthouse. If you have to go to the courthouse, we provide security to the workers at the courthouse, and we also provide security for the judges. So at the jail, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's a lot of programs that, and I think Mr. Duvall's your son-in-law, right?
Correct.
His son-in-law works for me, and he runs this program called GRIP. If you don't know what it is, it's a Gwinnett Reentry intervention program where we try to help people so when they get out of jail, they become citizens again. We have a program in there for veterans. We have a program in there. I just opened up 2 programs. One for women. It's an intervention, and what we're trying to do is if they're addicted to any alcohol or pills, we try to help them out. And mental health. So we're dealing with mental health right now. So I will tell you that if you don't know what the jail's about, please come on down. I'll stick around for the. Thank you for the minutes, and I'll stick around. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. No, sir. I am. I'm running for his office. Yeah, he endorsed me, and 24 years. Yeah, so I'm not trying to fill his shoes. I can't do that. He's a lot taller than me, so.
Thank you for coming out and spending time. You can stay as long as you want. I'm sure some of our citizens here have questions. It's a very crucial election in Gwinnett County. We need a gentleman like you, and I'm here to support you and endorse you. We need a law and order gentleman because things are changing in Gwinnett County. By the way, I got some information. I know everybody here is already registered to vote. I know that. But if there's anybody out there, registration for voter, the deadline is 10/5, October 5th. And believe it or not, right around the corner, we got early voting starting October 12th. So let's go out there and vote, right?
Yeah, thank you. That's all I have for you, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks again, Chief. All right, coming down to public utilities / transportation, Chairman Bill Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first couple items I had were already on the consent agenda. Moving into my next items is the first one up is we have as discussed Monday, we have a contract for Chris Yancey to provide a transition in order to, we've got ongoing projects and work as we needed. The city and Robin's gone over the contract. It looks, they've addressed what the concerns that we raised Monday night. I'm in favor of it. I think Ms. Hunsinger also agreed. Anyway, I want to make a motion that we approve that contract.
Sounds good. We have a motion by both of all. We have a second. Any discussion on the contract from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, the contract has been approved.
Thank you. Second item we have, as we discussed on Monday, is we have a change order for the water line that we're putting in from Monroe to Loganville. Just to recap what's happened. I mean, there's three total combined for a total cost of $438,659. Rock was encountered at Alcovey River under a county road, and then also a driveway driveway issue. And now, just to recap too, I mean, this water line is, we agreed to this in 2018. The goal is obviously to reduce, it's going to reduce our rates, which in turn pays us back. We'll be getting off of Gwinnett County water. It's unfortunate that during construction you come across rock like this. It was not anticipated. It varies. I just took, I can tell you for myself, from my role, I looked at the bridge today at Alcovey River. At one bend on one side of the creek, the rock was about 15 to 20 feet deep. We drive steel piles. Typically, we drive them in North Georgia. We drive them, 30, 40, 50 feet deep till we hit the end bearing of rock. Well, you got one bend that was 15 feet plus the depth of the footing, and then you go on the other side of the creek and it drops down. It could drop down 30 feet. So it varies. The contractor ran into some issues with the construction where in making his cut, they had some cave-ins. That's if you start cutting it too deep, and they had a close call. I don't know if you want to add, Chris or Danny, do you want to add to what the issues were, or Chris?
Mayor and Council, as Mr. Ball's already stated, this contract was originated back in 2018, and the contract was that Loganville would pay for 50% of the project. Monroe controlled the hiring of the engineer and the design of the project. During that design of the project, Monroe did an evaluation at the river where they ran into the bore problem with getting the line across. And just so you have a better understanding of what's going on at the river, you have to understand that when you go to do a bore for a utility line and you're sitting here tonight thinking you're getting a 16-inch water main underneath that river, that bore has to be 2 times that size to be able to pull that line through that casing. So you're talking a 32-inch bore. Monroe tried to go, when they looked at the river originally, they thought they had the project covered because just a year ago they pulled a 6-inch gas main through the river and they didn't hit no rock. So when they went in and tried to do the original bore that they had designed, they had what they call a blowout. And a blowout is when the bore starts caving in. And when the bore started caving in, the contractor almost lost 2 employees to drowning because it sucked them into the hole. With that being the case, they had to pull out because of the blowout. And when they started evaluating the situation, and tried to go back in, they hit the rock. And the reason they hit the rock is because, as Mr. Duvall stated, the depth that they had to carry the bore to assure that they wouldn't get the blowout across the riverbed, it caused them to run into the rock issue. And to get this is the last phase of the line. Pretty much everything else is it's installed in the ground, except doing the final tie-in to our main on Highway 78, which shouldn't be an issue. But to get across the river, you're looking at this change order because of the rock issue. So, unfortunately, these are things that, unless you got real close connections to the man upstairs and he telegraphs you and lets you know it's in place, you ain't going to know it. So, this is an unforeseen circumstance, and I do agree with what Mr. Duvall has said and what we have shown in past studies with where Gwinnett is carrying their water rates and what they've requested of the city in the past and what we're able to assure the city's rates will be with the transmission line. There'll be a cost savings eventually to the city. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of why this change order is being presented tonight to complete the tie-in of this transmission line.
The other thing is, you said we're close to finishing. How soon do you think they would complete the line?
The last report that we have from Monroe, if everything goes good with the bore across the river, as they're hoping to finish the bore and have it tied in sometime by October. So without doubt, the Monroe line we should be making connection no later than the first of the year. Because even after we get it tied in, you got to do the disinfection of the line and pressure testing of it, those type things. So that'll take a little time, but I would project no later than the first of the year of being able to pull water from that transmission. So,
all right.
Chris, can you talk about how long we've been trying this project for City of Monroe before I became city manager?
This project goes way back. During my tenure here, I explored this project several times, me and Mr. Jones, and we always got a lot of pushback. And I won't go into the details of that, but it's been going on for many years. And then when we started, it probably took us a good year and a half, 2 years through negotiations with Monroe this time to get it on board. And I think what really helped us bring Monroe to the table is when Gwinnett stepped up and pretty much told Loganville, you've got to get off our system, and left us with no choice. The only choice Gwinnett is offering you tonight as a water service is, please understand, they're telling Loganville the only reason they want you using Gwinnett water is if Loganville has no other choice but to use them as a backup emergency supply. And unfortunately, from the Walton County supply lines and where Loganville's growth going, Walton County's hydrology will not allow enough water to come from their lines into Loganville to meet the demand. So you had to go find an alternative source. There was no other choice. And I can go dig up the reports that I did and I presented to Bill Jones and show you the cost studies that we did, that we went to Rockdale County, we went to Barrow County, we went to Monroe, trying to get water. And some of those other municipalities were willing to discuss it, but the cost was a lot greater, and I proved that. And I presented that. And this route to Monroe was the most cost-effective route that Loganville had to consider and look at.
So I'll say this and I'll close because I've took a beating on social media about my integrity as a city manager and negotiating. And I know y'all know it and I'm sure y'all seen it, but we're getting the city of Monroe to pay half of our water line. That is, at the time before this change orders, $2.8 million that Monroe paid. So I think Chris, myself, along with y'all, because y'all got involved with the mayor and council of Monroe, we negotiated a very good deal. And yes, it's unfortunate that we hit rock and had to pay for this, but when I see myself getting attacked, I'm so getting tired of it. So it is an unforeseen issue, hitting rock. Nobody knew it. So I just want that said. And just so people understand, if we have zero water, y'all, in the city of Loganville, unless we get it from other suppliers. Zero. That's what you have to understand. And you have to pay for it. Because what's the alternative? Not have water? So for those who've seen Facebook and those who've commented, I wish you'd come and find the facts before you blatantly accuse me of doing something wrong. And I'm just so sick of it. So sorry I said that. I had to say that.
So, and just to confirm for the council and mayor, the understanding with the board, alternatives were looked at by Monroe. They looked at putting this line across the river on pylons, but what it was going to take to drive, because if you've been in Loganville long enough and we get into a substantial rain, everybody knows that the river bridge at Alcovey River, that water gets high out of the banks. I mean, it probably comes within 4 to 5 foot of that bridge, and that bridge is a new bridge. DOT has not been many years raised that whole bridge elevation, and that river still gets high. And they just felt like that with trying to put that line on pylons and what it would cost to do the support system for it to hold it in a flood situation, it was just going to be as costly or more. They looked, Mr. Bill Duvall, he recommended from his experience, can we strap it to the bridge? And DOT said no, the bridge would not carry. So this is the alternative that we only had to elect to choose. So I assure you, I don't know who's making comments and who ain't, and I don't work here no more, so I don't have to hold my tongue.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I'll take it as a personal insult of somebody that's got the experience that I've got to think that I would do a shafty job.
Absolutely. Woo! There we go. Love it.
So
I just love it when somebody stands up for themselves. Boy, love it.
I appreciate the comments. I just to clear things, I didn't make a recommendation to touch it to the bridge, but I know that you can't. So I was on the other end of that. But you well said, Chris, and you know we're a couple months away from finishing this line. It's necessary. I would make a recommendation to make a motion that we approve this change order, move on, get this thing done.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion from the council? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion's carried, sir.
So the only other thing is, I'm glad to see I saw poles going up, mast arm poles going up at Tom Brewer and 78 today. So that's progress. I like seeing it. But no other comments.
Can I add something, Chairman Duvall? I actually spoke to the gentleman. His name is Greg. He's with District 1, Area 2 at a GDOT, and the engineer. And he said he apologizes for taking so long. I know we approved this about a year and a half ago. It's been a while. He said they've hit rock, and of course COVID. So everybody's hitting rock in Loganville. So we should be called Rockville or something like that, right? So anyway, he did hit, and what he said is that they've already put the 4 poles in the corners. They're going to wait a week. They're going to go down to the next intersection going east with I think it's Cowan, and then they're going to be heading down up this way to Main Street and Highway 20. So you will be seeing some light changes on right here on Main Street. So great news, because I know our city's been waiting for that. So,
One other point of fact. So the design storm is a 50-year storm. The new bridge, westbound bridge there at Alcovey, we placed that 1 foot above the high water. So it should only be 1 foot above the high water for the 100. 2 foot above, 2 foot above the 50, 1 foot above the 100-year storm. And we do have plans to replace the older bridge next to it. So anyway.
I love it when we have a GDOT engineer, a bridge, because you lost me after, but anyway. Did y'all get that? I hope you did. Anyway, thank you, Bill Duvall.
Thank you.
All right. Coming down to Public Works / Facilities, Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Mayor, I have no actionable items for tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Human Resources, Chairman Danny Ford.
Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you so much, sir. City Manager, Danny Roberts. Okay. You guys heard about this on Monday. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the ARC study.
Motion.
Or contract, I'm sorry. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion on the ARC study contract? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, it's been passed. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Danny Roberts. City Attorney Robin Webb.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I asked to have something added to the agenda, an investigative report that I was assigned by the mayor early today. I've done as much as I can on it because I really wanted to be able to report something to you all tonight. Many of you received an email from Patty Wolf. The accusations about Danny Roberts are not limited to Facebook. That email from Ms. Wolf contained a lot of serious allegations against Danny Roberts. Because he is the city manager, the mayor, I don't want to speak for the mayor, but I believe the mayor felt it was important to investigate these allegations and see where we ended up. So I wanted to run through those with you briefly as far as what I have been able to find out today. The first thing she accuses him of is a dereliction of duties when it comes to the water contract. And I think we've covered that tonight between Mr. Duvall, Mr. Yancey, and Mr. Roberts. So I will move past that. The other thing she questions are notes on the last 2 years of audits. For those who are not aware, the city is required to conduct an audit every year. We have had the same auditor since 2007, and that auditor presented it to the mayor and council and did not notify the mayor and council of anything wrong with it, any concerns. That being said, because this has been raised as a concern, we've reached out to the auditor. He is going to come to the city and go through all of it again, just to make sure that there are no irregularities. Of course, that will cost the city extra money to do so, because it is outside the scope of what that company was originally retained to do. So that will happen. I will need a new engagement agreement between the council and the auditor. Unfortunately, I don't know what that cost is going to be yet. We will have to wait until he comes and meets with city personnel, and then we will have that amount and present it to the council. Ms. Wolf also questioned why we use an auditor out of Macon and why we don't go to Atlanta to get an auditor. And so what I did was request from the auditor a summary of their experience in doing this for municipalities. And briefly, they sent me a paragraph that I would like to read to the mayor and council, and more importantly to all of you, so you can understand their experience and their record. It says that Clifton, Lipford, Hardison, and Parker has specialized in the audit of local governments for over 60 years. They were initially engaged by the city of Loganville in 2007 to perform the 2006 audit. At that time, the city had been incurring audit fees approaching $90,000 to $100,000 per year. I was here, I remember that you probably do too, Janice, that whole discussion. With Clifton Lipton, the city pays about $36,000 a year. So it's a significant savings. Since the time that the city has been using this auditor, by the way, we've not had any issues with the audit that I am aware of. The partner, manager, senior staff overseeing the engagement have over 85 years of combined experience in governmental accounting and auditing. They participate in the America Institute of Certified Public Accountants peer review program to monitor their compliance with professional standards. Since the original audit for the City of Loganville back in 2007, they have undergone 5 such peer reviews and received clean reports, the most recent of which they included in what they sent to us, and I will make that available to the council and to citizens if you would like it. Personally, Kenneth Neal, who is the one who completes the city's audit and will be the one to come tomorrow to take a look at everything, he has participated as an instructor on auditing and accounting issues for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Over the years, he has developed working relationships with both the technical board of the Certified Public Accountants and the Georgia Department of Audits. All of the professional staff of this auditing firm receive over 40 hours of continuing education every year. Their current governmental client list consists of 7 counties, 11 municipalities, 2 regional commissions, and 14 authorities/agencies. Now, of course, it's up to the mayor and council every year to decide who you want to do your audit. But I did want to present that as a showing these people did not just come out of the woodwork. They're very experienced, and they've been peer reviewed, and those peer reviews have all been positive throughout the years. The next question that Ms. Wolf raised is the monies that were spent but not authorized by the City Council. She refers to it as the precision planning incident. We have discussed that, I know, at multiple meetings that I have attended in public and explained it to everyone. I don't know how else to explain it again, but I will say that I went back and reviewed everything about precision planning and the money spent. I did not find anything out of the ordinary or anything action taken by the city manager that violated any city ordinance or law. The amounts that Ms. Wolf is referring to, I think, based on previous communications from her, were within the city manager's spending authority. The next thing that is somewhat connected to that, she says that there is an entry of $85,000 under building maintenance. She claims that the city manager can only move amounts or change a budgeted amount without city council approval if those amounts are moved or changed within the same department. I spoke with Natalie and with Danny today. I specifically questioned this move of this $85,000. I can assure the mayor and council and the citizens of Loganville that money was moved within the same budget, the same account in the executive department. It is exactly what Danny and Natalie and the people that worked for them are allowed to do and permitted to do. I'll also say that she questioned specifically why the amount in building maintenance of $85,000 was so much more than the previous 2 years. Danny Roberts, I know, has stood at that podium in public meetings to address this same allegation of this $85,000. I went back through all of it again today for myself with my own eyes to make sure that I fulfilled the mayor's charge. And I can assure you that that $85,000, which was lawfully, legally moved within Danny Roberts' budget, was put there to cover possible schematics for the downtown development, of which I know we're all familiar. But as we're all also familiar, the mayor and council elected not to go forward with that project. That $85,000 is still sitting in that account. It has not been spent. So there has been no dereliction or duty of duties or other unlawful, unethical, or contrary to what he's supposed to do by Danny Roberts with that money. Ms. Wolf also claims in this email that she has filed 10 complaints with the Attorney General's office about open records and open meetings compliance by the city of Loganville. This is not a new allegation, I think, to any of us. But I do want to let everyone know, I heard from the AG's office last week. They forwarded me a complaint from Ms. Wolf. It is the only complaint that they have received from her. It concerns the Citizens Advisory Group, and she complained, as she has to the mayor and council, that the mayor and council did not convene and is not conducting that group in accordance with the open meetings law. The AG's office disagreed with her and said that that group is conducted in accordance with the law. I'll also tell you that the mayor called in the people that he knows way high up in the AG's office when Ms. Wolf began making this complaint, because he wanted to make sure. We have talked about this many, many times. I can't tell you the number of times. Every time someone has raised an issue with this, either directly to the mayor and council, to Danny, or on Facebook, we go around about this again. The reason is because the mayor and council take it very seriously. I take it very seriously. And because of how seriously they take it, the mayor called in some political favors. I don't mean to speak for you, Mayor, but went high up in the AG's office, and he and Danny had an extended conversation with the AG's office and said, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. This is the complaint we've received. Please let us know if we are doing anything wrong. They responded that no, the city is not doing anything wrong. You're complying with all of the laws, and we moved on. Ms. Wolf complained. The AG's office again opined in response to her single and only complaint that I am aware of and that the AG's office has informed me about, that the city is in compliance. She has now said also that because the mayor and council have stated publicly that they have Danny's back, that she's going to file a complaint with the county commission. And I just want to savor the time because the county doesn't have any authority over the city at all. She's also saying she's going to file a complaint with the state auditor. She's welcome to do that, but that would be against the auditor, not against the city. And she said she's going to the AG's office, which if she would like to do that, that's fine. They can opine again and tell us again that we're doing everything correctly. Now, I will say, if we ever got an opinion that says we're not, we would be the first to acknowledge that and move on and fix that. But just so everyone's aware, we have done all of our due diligence. So in conclusion, those are my initial findings. I did not make those findings based on things that we've discussed in the past. I did go through everything anew today, which again will cost the city some money for me to do that. But I think the mayor felt it was important to address these head on and hopefully, God willing, put them to rest so we can move on from all of this. And as soon as I do hear from the auditor about the cost of examining the audits and the notes that Patty Wolf is referring to, I will let the mayor and council know. And then, like I said, we'll have to enter into a new agreement with the auditor to do that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Ms. Barber.
She lives in my neighborhood, and I am pissed.
The girl Barbara.
There you go. It is your tax money that we're using.
I know.
There you go.
Where is she from? She doesn't stick her nose out the door. Maybe that's why. She's sure isn't here tonight.
What it's going to take is people like you to talk to her.
No, you don't want me to talk to her.
There you go. You don't want to get Barbara Forster upset. Good job.
I'm glad I came tonight.
You're with her? Go ahead. There you go. Any questions? Is that it, Ms. Barbara Forster?
Yeah, I'm just very, very angry about this.
There you go.
She's just a regular, ordinary person that lives in my neighborhood. Why? Does anybody know why?
I can tell you. Well,
wait a second.
Joanne?
Let me, I'm going to try.
Really not? You want?
This is what I like Patty. She sent me when we sent the developer package, she sent me one of the nicest emails I've ever gotten. Here's what I'm having trouble with. She lives 5 minutes away. She's never voted in a city election. She sends hundreds of open records requests. So concerned about Danny Roberts, but you can't take 5 minutes to vote. I thought I would bring Assistant Chief Lawyer. How long have you known Danny Roberts? 20 years. You got integrity? Major Warner, same? How long you known him? What do you think about Danny Roberts? Great guy? Very respectable.
And Janice
Janice
is
Tribble,
next.
first grade teacher.
Janice is next.
There you go. Right. Go there. Ann Jones, you're next. Get ready. I know, you're next. Because I'm telling you something, we're losing our patience up here.
I've
because I'm
known this
telling you
little
something.
boy since he was 3 years old. I love him just like he's my son. In fact, I would call him anytime, and I'll tell you what happened to us this week, just this week. My husband, I know most of you know him. Tuesday night he fell in the floor, and the first person that came to my mind for help was Danny Roberts, because you know he's been an EMT, he was our fire chief. I said, Danny, I need some help. Harold's on the floor, and I don't want to try to get him up. I'm afraid I might hurt him. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I said, no, Danny, please take 10 because I don't want you to get hurt. He was there in just a few minutes. He helped me with my husband. He was so good to Harold, and he said, I'll take you to the hospital. We'll call 911. I said, no, I can drive. I don't drive a lot because I have a bad leg. But anyway, when we got to Monroe, to the hospital, here was Danny Roberts already there. I bet he was speeding. I bet he sped a little bit over there. But anyway, he helped us get Harold into the hospital. And that's not the only thing he's done for people around here. You know, he came to my kindergarten. I had a private school when he was 3. That's how long I've known this young man. I have never, ever known him to do anything to hurt anybody. And I think anybody in this town can tell you what a wonderful person he is. And I can take a lot of things. I don't like to see people hurt. There's some people in this world that I have to pray for myself about because I don't care too much for them. But I'm going to tell you something. I would fight for this young man. And I think most of the people in this town would, because that's the kind of person he is. If you needed him tonight and called him, he would be there immediately, regardless. He has a wonderful family. He just, and I'll tell you even something more. His grandmother brought all of her grandchildren to my kindergarten. And if I'm right, there was 31 children that came to my private school, her grandchildren. And the last one, when they graduated, we gave Miss Shaw a diploma. And she was so excited. And I just want you to know, my heart can take a lot of things. But Harold and I have prayed about this. We've talked about this. And you know, nobody loves Loganville any more than me. I think everybody can tell you that. But you know, things have happened lately that we're not real happy about. We don't want 800 apartments in Loganville. I'm going to go ahead and say that, okay? Is that okay if I say that? But anyway, we love the people here. We would fight for this city. And you know, there's so many people, and I know you want me to be quiet now. You're ready for
Well, I
me
want to get
stop?
more people involved because I'm fired up.
Okay, but I just want you to know.
Ann Jones, would
we
you
love
back her up?
Danny, and we love this police department too. I'll tell you that too. They're wonderful.
Chris Yancey, before you exit stage left, give me a minute or two on Danny Roberts.
I'll hold it for you.
Leave out the bad stuff.
You know, I've worked a lot of years with Danny. I was here almost 24 years, and you know, Danny, I think, came right after I did with the fire department. And you know, when I've worked with him, and I've never said this to Danny personally, but I was involved in a car accident on the clock here at work. I got hit on Highway 81 trying to turn into a driveway, and the car knocked me 48 foot. They measured the tread marks. It knocked me 48 foot down Highway 81 and knocked me out, broke my front seat. I was laying in the back seat when Danny was the first person on the scene that morning. And when I come to myself, he was over me trying to unhook me from the seatbelt and get me stable and get me out. And then you transition from that to when Bill retired and Danny took over, there was a lot of questions. What is going to happen with Danny taking over as city manager? But I'm going to tell you, I don't know a better city manager that I would want to work for. He's trustworthy. And I'm just going to be honest. There's a lot of people. We've took a lot of slander, a lot of hits as a city, but it's time some people grow up and be adults and quit playing childish games. I mean, if you're a big adult that you want to participate, that you are in this city, then grow up and act like it. Because I promise you, there is no more striving in a city municipality that goes on with the employees and the staff that try to do a professional job for the citizens of this city. And Danny he comes in every day and strives to encourage the staff that's underneath him to do the right thing and do the best thing. And I'll tell him personally, Matt, I appreciate being the mentor and the support system that he has been for me since I've worked under him as a city manager, and I appreciate him to that.
Thank you, Chris. Mayor, you and I have been around a while. Robin as well. Hold on, I'll get to you. Let me run the show.
Okay.
Mayor, give a little about Danny Roberts.
Just a little bit. I remember when I first got elected as mayor, I sat down with Danny and I said, I just want you to be honest with me. I want you to look out for me because, we are not employees of the city. We represent the city. We set policy. These folks behind us are basically the heartbeat. So let me tell you, the times I've been with Danny in and we've been to a lot of meetings. We've been to Atlanta, we've been to Monroe to talk about things. This man has grown into that job like I haven't seen anybody. And let me tell you, I've been in meetings. I know folks out there that don't sit with that man, don't have a clue. Is that Cameron? Is that Susan Little, Patty Wolf, whatever her name is? Is she watching? Okay.
Too fired up.
All right. The Hispanic is coming out on me. Of course I gotta get fired up. I got his support. As long as I'm sitting here, as long as I'm representing you, Loganville, I'm going to support that man because I have watched him. I have sat down and watched him deal with other complicated issues that I cannot even say it better myself. And he has gotten to go with other city managers, and whether it's transportation, whether it's water line, and so on and so forth, he's made it happen. Unless you don't sit with him and hear him, which you do have an opportunity to do. He has an open door policy. Danny has an open door policy. You could come to him. Trust me. We got a few people in here that has taken advantage of that. And he's answered any question to the best of his ability. I have seen him in action. So let me tell you, I'm watching into that camera. I know people are watching me on YouTube right now. All right? I'm watching it. As long as I'm here, Mayor Ray Martinez, support Danny Roberts. All right? Thank you.
Go ahead. He replaced Bill Jones, who is one of the all-time greats, in my opinion. And I had a lot of, I'll be honest with you, he's surpassed Bill, and he's only been here, how long have you been doing the job? If this man right here left, not only would I resign, my house would be for sale tomorrow, period. Robin, And please, feel free, because this has got to stop. A person can only take so much.
They got you.
Oh, okay. I've known Danny since before Danny was. Now, let me explain. Michael taught his mother in high school, Kay Shaw. And he always had a special place. Kay had some difficulties. Families, you know what families are. And she went to Michael on numerous occasions. He never shared anything, but he was a mentor to her. And he was very proud of Kay. She was in every way a pure young lady. And Danny, I knew his daddy, but when I said that, it was in jest, but not real. I've known him his entire life. And there were times, he and Austin graduated together. And if there was any one young man in that class that I would have picked out for Austin to run with, to be a buddy with, because they also were in Scouts together. And he always emulated everything. And that one of the most disappointing things was when Danny did not get to continue in Scouting. And I don't know what happened, but he had the makings of being an Eagle Scout at a very young age. So, Danny, when I called you back in the spring, or back when everything was really getting, Michael said, Ann, please go in there and call Steve and tell him to stick to his guns, that we're behind him. Now, I'm quoting what was told to me, and I did. And I'm proud of you, Danny. Proud.
Robin?
I'll just say that in the 20 years I've represented the city, I worked a long time with Bill Jones, and you're right, Bill was one of the best. But I also agree that Danny is really just skyrocketed in his position. I tell Danny all the time, but he probably hates to hear it. I remember when Bill made him fire chief, and the first time he had to come up and address the mayor and council, I thought he was going to vomit. I was nervous for him, and now look at where he is. And I want everyone to know that Danny has an incredible amount of integrity. He does not do anything without making sure it's approved either by the mayor and council or he calls me, because he is that serious about what he's doing and the integrity that he brings to the job. And I'll tell you, I think all of the employees appreciate him, appreciate his leadership. I know they do. And I think he does a great job, and I can't say enough about his honesty and integrity, the way he performs those duties.
We would have, staff would be in chaos, and you'd see resignations and people leaving. You don't know how good we have it. You just don't know how good we have it with that man as a city manager. You're standing up. You're fired up. Go ahead.
I'm fired up.
You're standing up.
I didn't want to sit down and say this because I like to stand up.
Like a preacher over there.
Ms. Wolf has attacked me also. I have an email that she said after a work session from YouTube that I was unfit to be on this earth. You have a copy of that email. Mayor has it. You have it. I think the state's attorney general has it. So I don't know where that come from. I looked at that YouTube several times, never found anything on there that I ever said that night. I spoke to Tim Prater one time. I asked him a question. I asked our city attorney, Robin Webb, one question. And when I got home at 9:30, there was this email. Just letting me have it. I have no idea what it was about. And I will say, you want to say something?
Well, I just wanted to say that you called me and said, what
Yes.
have I done wrong?
Right.
What did I do that was offensive? I said, I don't know. But you cared enough to try and investigate it and see, did I?
Exactly. And there's been some other people on there that's called me out. I don't know why. I don't look at Facebook. I know that one council person this past week was criticized for not being on Facebook.
Is that me?
What? It wasn't you.
I hate that site.
I hate it. I don't look at it. I just don't look at it. It doesn't do anybody any good to look at that site. And I'm going to say what Chris said. It's time for this city to pull together. You cannot let 4 or 5 people tear this city apart, especially one that doesn't even live in the city. I'm telling you that. I don't know what else to say. You know, I voted to stop the apartments. Well, I was a hero then, but something's changed. Danny Ford's not liked anymore. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to get away from that, and I'm going to talk about this man, myself. How many times I come and see you, and they'll admit it, they'll tell you, I come and see him 2 or 3 times a week, and we sit down and we talk. And I've been on phone calls with him. I've been with him and Ray at meetings in Gainesville with him. He's as reputable guy that you ever want to see to run this city. He guards the money. He doesn't spend it. I mean, if it's a spend, we get an email sometimes, the council does, and he's asking us if it's okay for him to do this. And we give him, you know, our encouragement, and I praise him for what he's done. He's a good man. And anybody that says he's not, I don't know what, maybe they're not worthy of being on this earth. So I'm going to let it go at that. Thank you.
You know what? We should.
You got anything to say, Joanne? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
we
sure.
should. Before Joanne, real quick. You know, we got to make it light, right? I think I should read a proclamation today. Call it Danny Roberts Day. How about that? Are we in favor of that? Go ahead.
So first of all, Danny, and I guess everybody, you know, this Facebook group, we kind of all get lumped, well, the 4 or 5, Danny, we get lumped together as a whole. And I want to say, I think it's important, you know, like I'm listening to everything that's being said. These feelings of animosity against you, Danny, is not from everybody on this Facebook group. I think it's important to recognize that even though in certain discussions and stuff, those 4 or 5 will back each other up and contribute to it, that doesn't mean that we all agree on every single thing. So that's one. Yes, I've had my things, we've talked, precision planning, done over, you know, I know there's been nothing else. So that's one thing that, you know, while you guys talking about Danny, I want to say that not everybody on that group is feeling that way, you know, against everybody. And so far as the Facebook page goes, you know, like everything else on social media, it's a positive and a negative. I think it's great that, you know, it got so many people involved. I often think about that it's got to be tough. I mean, I've seen Terry Parsons and Paul's going through it right now. I see like people get ripped apart. I wouldn't want to be in that situation either, and I do. I hate that part of it, but there's a lot of positives to it. You know, there's things being discussed, even things that I know I've been wrong about. I've gotten educated about it as a result of it. So, you know, I just feel the need to say that
And Joanne,
please don't lump us all together all the time.
no, we're not here to do that. We're not. And we've known you now for about 2 years, but it'll be good to correct the record. If you hear something that's misleading, in my opinion, wow, I heard something. Let me check with the source, and you would check with the source and with all with all due respect, you correct the record. If you don't respond, it's going to stay there, and it's going to be assumed to be true. So we need folks out there to read the comments, whatever comments those may be, check with the source, in this case would be Danny Roberts, and then go back to that person that's making the accusations. With all due respect, this is not the way it goes, and have that dialogue.
About this whole thing. So,
Folks, these emails are like this. These emails are like this. There's so many words. It's just so many words to read. Hey, hold on. Assistant Chief Lowry, I hate to do this to you, but you're such a good public speaker. And you've known Danny a long time with the fire department. Can you give me a few on Danny? Because I know you fired up to.
Well, I was sitting over here staring at the floor, deciding whether I want to stand up here or not. So here I stand. I can tell you all this on a personal level. Y'all know I just came back to work from a surgery that was pretty rough. And Danny checked on me every few days. He came to my house. The last neck surgery that I had was in 2009. And when I woke up, there were 3 people in my hospital room, one of them being my wife, one of the other ones being Danny Roberts. A few years ago, unfortunately, Greg and I were both involved in a fatal shooting on duty. And everybody wants to know what happened. Hey, what happened? What happened? What happened? When Danny called me, he said, I don't really care what happened. Are y'all okay? Because that's what was important to him. And I know people are upset about the way some things have gone with this development and all that. I get that. I think everybody here gets that. But I'm not new to Loganville either. I've been here 49 years. I went to church and got baptized right across the street, and I ate lunch in the room we're in right now when I was this big. I've been here a long time too. And I place a high value, and all those of y'all that know me, and probably some that don't know me that well will probably know, I place a very high value on integrity. And having said that, I will tell everybody in this room this. If I believed for 1 second, as much as I think of him, that Danny Roberts had taken money like he's been accused of, or some of the other things that would clearly be absolute crimes, I assure you, nobody'd have to ask me to call the GBI. But I also stand here 1,000% confident that that'll be a phone call I'll never have to make as long as Danny Roberts is city manager of the city of Loganville.
Thank you, Assistant Chief. Hold on, Mayor. So a couple more. I'm wound up. I'm done. Christy, Ash, and Natalie Warnock, I hate to put you on the spot. Christy, you've been here forever. Natalie, you've been here just close to you forever. We're getting there, folks. Bear with me.
Well, I feel like I can testify. Yeah, I feel like I'm in church. I mean, amen, right? I have worked with Danny probably longer here than anybody else. I started in 1997 as a 22-year-old. Danny came in the next year. And so we've kind of grown up with the city together. And I can tell you, we've had disagreements over the years. We have had tears together. We have leaned on each other. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he cares more about these employees as a whole than anybody else. And this employees, I handle human resources. The employees are hurting because they know he is. And I'll be very honest with you. Danny and I had a very candid conversation when he started working with Bill Jones. I said to him, you know how stressful this is. You know the pressure that you can get. I said, are you sure you want to do that? You have children that need to go to college. I don't want you to get in a position that you're not going to be able to send them to school. Danny looked at me, and I'll never forget it. He said, Christy, I feel like I have to. I feel like I owe it to this city. I feel like I owe it to the employees. I feel like I need to do it. And I said, well, then you know what? Let's do it. And I'll tell you, it hasn't been a mistake. Bill Jones saw something in him, and he trained him, and he has far exceeded my expectations. I know that there's nothing on a personal level or a work level that I need that he's not going to be there. I have had some recent issues that have just brought me to tears. I'm emotional, like y'all can't tell. But he was there at every step. Are you okay? It's going to be okay. So every time we see him, are you okay? What can we do? I got it. It's good. I know inside it's not, but he holds up. And I'm so proud of the people that have stood up and said and recognized the things that we as employees see. Because I don't live in the city, but I feel like the city is a child of mine because I've been here for 24 years. And so we all kind of feel that it's a part of us. And we're family as employees to our citizens. And I thank God every day that he has given me the work family that he has. He's given me the boss, the friend, and the mentor that he has given me. And like I said, I felt like I needed to testify.
All right, Natalie Warnock.
Well, I surely don't know how to follow up after that one, especially being one of few words and do not like public speaking. But I can tell y'all that I have been fully passionate this week. I have been full of stress and a bundle of nerves, and nobody has really been able to understand it. We've been sitting back since January 31st when I filled Patty Wolf's first ORR. I have literally pretty much worked for Patty since January 31st. I have over probably 200 email correspondences with her, and Danny has probably 300, 400. And the fact that I have watched this week in the comments, and yes, we do watch that Facebook page. I know y'all like to say, well, they like to quote the Facebook page, but we like to know what is going on, what can we help with, what can we fix, but we also want to know what we're up against. And the fact that Patty decided to send an email this week that pretty much said Danny pretty much isn't doing anything right and is illegal made me just a ball of fury. You can ask everybody that works for me, a ball of fury, because that man is the furthest thing from it. And I can assure you as a finance director, it's not gonna happen. He would never even think about it, attempt it, or even want to. And I want everybody to know that. And if you have questions about it, please ask. If you see somebody say that, send an email and say, what's this expenditure? I understand wanting to know your government. I understand transparency. That's what we do. If that's what you want, then ask. Don't just grumble and spread every lie that you can think of. Just ask. That's all it takes. Don't turn to Facebook. Just ask us. And for goodness sakes, don't talk about somebody you don't know.
Yeah. You know, Danny's never off duty. I mean, I drop my son off for school in the morning, and his light in his office is on, and I'll text him something about being the early bird catching the worm. I just can't say enough good things about him. I'm glad everybody here's got a lot of positive things to say about him. Ann, you want to jump in here real quick? I know you're, all right, okay, go ahead.
I just want to say that I admire Danny. I think he does an excellent job, and I know he cares about all the council members and the mayor, and he cares about the citizens. And I'm sitting here now because Danny asked me to run. I had made the statement that I wasn't running, and I know it made some people mad because I did run, but I ran because Danny asked me to. And I felt like because he felt like I would be a woman of my word and integrity, and I think that's the reason he asked me to run. And I'm here, and I'm telling you, I got Danny's back, no matter whether anybody likes it or not. Danny will be here as long as I'm on council, and as long as I have to say so, Danny will be here. And Danny, you are an excellent man, and I've been into his office today, and I said, Danny, I want you to know that I am praying for you every single day. I pray for you. And if y'all out there are prayer warriors, you pray for this man, because he needs it every single day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ann?
I have your back, and you know that. I have a different opinion about a couple of things that I think it's important to state. I expect, and I've been jotting notes so I didn't forget. I expect and require, and I task every citizen to question every elected official, the government, and the process. That's our jobs as citizens of this country. And the issues and how decisions are made. And I will discuss, and I bet you anybody on this desk or Danny or anybody here will discuss and debate the issues anytime you want to do that. But there is a difference between a difference of opinion and a character assassination. And that is what has been happening since January. Nobody takes the time to pick the phone up and check the facts. They jump on board, and that has to stop. Mm-hmm. We have to heal. We have to go forward, or we're going to lose the city. Yeah. I did not want 800 apartments. She didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. She didn't. And he didn't. And neither did Skip. But if we sit in the hatred that's been going on since January, this town will die. I don't want a big downtown Buckhead. I just want something nice. And that's what we're trying to do. We have to stop the us and the them. And it's got to stop because there's so much time and money. How much money did we pay you? Don't answer that. But how much money did we pay you today?
A lot.
To figure this out. And how much lost productivity do we have with employees? And how much stress are we putting you through when you're doing your job? Please stop. We have to move forward.
Right.
It's your all's money. It's your all's money.
Like literally, we're probably going to spend $10,000.
I have made a lot of money off Patty Wolf.
No, but about the audit.
And I'm telling you the truth about that. I have spent so much time trying to help them deal with all of the more than, you know why Natalie knows how many emails there are? Because I make them count at one point. Because of the lack of productivity and the amount of time it has taken for them to respond to these. It's, and I will echo what Ann said. No one ever objects. No one at the city objects to providing information. You all have questions. That's totally understandable. But when we do the same thing over and over again, that is when it becomes problematic. And I agree with Ann and what Natalie said, that to put these kind of accusations against someone who served the city for such a long time, these were not inquiries. They were a dereliction of duty. She's accusing him of stealing money, and that's not the way to go about asking questions.
So Ann, ballpark this audit, how much is this going to cost us, ballpark? I know you're accountant.
The problem, so audits are generally focused on what has to happen, what you're looking for. And a general audit, and not in the government side, I mean, in what I've been involved in, you go and you pull vendor bills from these X vendors or from this date, because you're looking for the anomalies, right? And what I think that this audit has to do, they're going to have to pull every single piece of paper, which is just time. I mean, I don't know how broad the scope is. Is it 2 years? I don't know how much Ken's going to look at.
Well, the email that y'all sent me was 2 years worth of
Yeah,
questions.
I think it's 2 years. So, I mean, from a cost perspective, there's a huge difference between saying, hey, I really don't understand how the water line, how we're going to have to pay $450,000, which your explanation, Chris, was fantastic. I wish we, I mean, that was the best explanation of everything. And saying, well, Danny, you suck at your job and you really messed up because we have to pay that money.
And they're going to come back and say, everything's good, right? 100%.
Yes, sir. They've already said it.
They already said it.
My findings are.
Findings are insignificant. So the previous 2 years' findings have been like a journal entry not being in the right period, which means it's just dated wrong, or it hit the wrong balance sheet account, which is, and the findings are insignificant. And they've said that in the reports. And if you go back to the minutes, all of the auditor's findings have been insignificant. This firm is known in the Southeast for the work that they do. And for anybody that says like the auditor's in cahoots or like GDOT's in cahoots with the city or a planner, these firms live and die on their reputation. They cannot afford to, frankly, to throw something down the tubes for 10 grand. I mean, it's so much bigger than us. So again, hey, Danny, why did this happen? Not, Danny, you stole money. There's just a difference in the way we have to approach it.
Problem is, and when we answer the questions, oh, I know, we're not telling. I know, I understand.
Well, and I'm gonna just end me with this. We can't do it alone. You guys know these people that are saying that. I need you to correct them if they're wrong. Correct them if they're wrong. We cannot do it. We need everybody up here to chime in. But anyway, Ann, I think, Ann? That might be an attorney question.
The mayor asked the AG's office that, I think, kind of like, well, how much do we, and there is no cutoff.
There's no cutoff.
Why don't you do one, so if you've answered the same questions.
We, unfortunately, the open
You can go.
meetings and open records law requires them
Okay. This is old business.
respond to specific document requests and that sort of thing. Yes, I will tell you that I have tried to get Danny and Natalie not to answer substantively because they're not required to do so, but they want to answer the questions because they are the ones who, yes. And so they have explained and explained and explained and explained.
All right, one more, and then Danny has a
Yeah, I
few words.
appreciate you taking comments and questions. So has the council determined that this audit is necessary? And if so, is it only in response to this accusation?
The council has not determined anything about the audit. This was something that Danny and I discussed, and I'm going to be very truthful here. It wasn't my idea, it was Danny's, because Danny wants to make sure that everything that he is doing is correct. He is the one who reached out to the auditor immediately and said, what is she talking about? Is this right? He is the one who wants to make sure he's doing it correctly. I was
appreciate
trying
that,
to take it.
And I would urge you not to do it.
All right, thank you.
Floor is yours,
Danny.
Mr. Roberts. Wait a second, I'm sorry.
A few more.
Sure.
Heather Boyce.
I'll speak my Piedmont part in a minute. But so I was born and raised here in Loganville as well. I ate lunch in this cafeteria room as well. I took dance classes on Main Street, and Facebook fires me up too. But as a community relations person, I keep my mouth shut. But I support Danny as well. His wife works for us at the hospital. I have nothing but good things to say about them. And like this gentleman said, can we not have enough people in the city of Loganville say, not to spend that amount of money on an audit and tell her to shut up and sit down?
I'd agree.
It's not just her money. Like, if she wants an audit, let her pay $10,000 for an audit. Yeah.
That is up to the mayor. Thank you.
All right. Is that it?
Anybody else before I turn the floor over?
All right. Danny. Oh, Mr. Sotheby. John, the best mechanic in Loganville here.
Danny, you do all this stuff for the city. I just want your phone number, man, in case I ever fall or something. I may need some help. I need your personal digits. If it's 3 in the morning, I can ring you up and you can come help.
Good.
But you
Thank
know
you.
I got you back
Yes,
too.
thank you. So
awesome. Thank you.
Okay. You know, I'm against a lot of things too, and I say my piece. My name's Greg, and sorry I'm late. I had things. I drove like hell to get here because I wanted to speak on this. Danny and I have had our difference of opinion, and it pisses me off that Patty Wolf keeps going on and on and on. I've had it out with her. Look, Danny and I don't want a new city hall. I've said that, and all you have to do, if you want something from me, ask me. But Danny, I've defended him before it was cool to defend him. I've been on Facebook. I say a lot of stuff, and I back it up, and I mean it. But as far as Danny goes, I've never had anything that I've looked at Danny Roberts and said something's illegal. And she brought that up, and I defended it because it's absolute garbage that not only does Danny have to keep going through this, but the city. I have a lot of other points on a lot of other things that can be saved for a later date, but as far as that goes, I'm here to support Danny because I think it's complete garbage.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
Still gainfully employed right now for 3 more years, and then I'll be open to do that.
Thank you, Greg.
All right.
Thank you very much. Good to see you here, Greg.
And you know what? We're going to end with that passionate speech right there. Danny, go for it,
So
brother.
thank you.
That's it.
So yeah, it's everything happens for a reason. So this happened tonight for a reason, because I'll tell y'all, it's been tough the last couple of days. See your name on Facebook after Monday night saying that I didn't negotiate, I didn't read the contract, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And it's just the staff here. The reason I'm still here and not somewhere else is because the staff that works for me and the council. This is the best council that I've had. I've been here next year 30 years. 30 years. Longer than some of y'all been alive. I've been in this city working since 1991. So when I see my name, I take it personal, but I tell the council, don't get on Facebook, don't argue, because you'll never win, and I'll do the same thing. But I cannot tell you how many times this week I was typing response, and I knew it would take me down, as Robbie calls it, the black hole, and I didn't want to get it, so I just do what most men do, is keep it inside. But it's been tough. And Joanne, Greg, you're absolutely right. Y'all in that group, and not everybody's like that. It's just some of them that just, what I tell the staff is they just keep putting the same stuff to get, it's like people that watch drama shows. They just watch it for entertainment. It's just for entertainment. That Facebook group had a purpose when it first happened. I will agree to that 100%. Y'all didn't want something. You came and did your duty as citizens, and they listened and they stopped. But just this week, I see pictures of a city hall. Do we really want a new city hall? Y'all, I'm here to tell you, on my children's life, there is no design for a city hall. The only reason we were looking at a new city hall, not because Danny Roberts wanted a Taj Mahal, as y'all call it, it's because the developer wanted this property and we had nowhere to go. That is the only reason. This committee, not the committee, but the group that y'all are in, Greg, I stood up and said, if there's no development, why are we even talking about remodeling the city hall? It's fine. It will be here when I'm dead and gone, because it's been here for 70 years now. But the only reason the mayor and the council was talking about a new city hall is because we had nowhere to go. If we don't sell this, why would I want to remodel and put a 2-story? Why would I want to bring the police department? We tried. It didn't work out for court for a whole lot of reasons where you can't have courts in a building that's not secure. I learned that from the judge and from the police chiefs when we first talked about it. The city hall at 4385 Pecan Street, it cannot be developed for a 2nd story. I've said that. It was talked about. It just can't happen. Can we expand it? Sure. But why? We have room here. If we're not going to develop, and if that's what the citizens of Loganville tell this council, like I said in that meeting we had with the 7 citizens, I promise you this council is not going to do a development. I promise you they're not. They stopped it. It's done. Let's move on. We got other stuff to worry about. So when I see this stuff on Facebook and just people just flock to it, just like Friday they said, oh my God, my taxes in the city of Loganville went up. They all should be fired. Y'all, the tax bill haven't even went out. We just set the millage rate tonight. That's the kind of stuff I see on Facebook, and it drives me absolutely crazy when I see people talk about the elected officials and how they should be fired, and they're not, and they're worthless. We can agree to disagree, and I would never call Patty Wolf worthless. I would never call nobody that disagrees with me worthless, because it's your opinion. You're right. You deserve that opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and say that you shouldn't exist. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Danny Roberts is in bed with the developer. Danny Roberts is taking money. Or the latest thing was the email I got is on the altar, whom knows whom there, I wonder. That was the email I got. So, Patty, I know you're watching. Let it go. There's nothing there. I mean, I am forced, y'all, to go get an attorney to defend myself. Because if I retire in 7 years, God willing, I'll make it that far, where will I go to get a city manager when they pull up Danny Roberts and they pull up everything on Facebook? Who's going to hire me? You have attacked my character, and it took me 30 years to get where I am today. All to be shot down on a Facebook message. So I have asked Robin what I need to do. You have to go get you a personal attorney. It's going to cost you $2,000 probably. And that's what I talked to my wife last night. I'm going to do it because I have to defend myself. I have to defend my family, my livelihood, all because of what? It started over 800 apartments that we're not doing. And that's how we got here. And that's it. I mean, if it wasn't for these guys and girls, I promise you, I would be sweeping the floors for the city or going back working in the fire department. I guarantee you that. But who's going to take this job after they see what happened? If I saw this with Bill Jones, I guarantee you I would be the fire chief right now. And I don't know who I'd be working for, but it wouldn't be Danny Roberts, wouldn't be the city manager. I can tell you that. And I'm afraid if something happens to me, what department head's going to take this job? Knowing that I've been here 3 years and they just let me go. 22 years paid with the city of Loganville. 7 more years to go before I hit the Rule 30. That's paid. I know I said I've been here 30 years, but 9 of those years were volunteer, which I got zero money. So if you have a question about the city, call me. Now, I know Ms. Wolf's going to say, I try to ask you questions. And I told her I'm not answering no more questions. After I was accused from her of taking bribes from the developer, I sent her email, so I will no longer answer no more of your questions, but I will answer your open records request because by state law I have to, because I'm the custodian of the record for the city of Loganville. I'm the city clerk as well. So by law I have to do that. But when she wants me to explain this, explain that, I'm done. But that's because of the way you treat me. And, you know, if anybody wants to come to my office, I will sit down and tell you everything that I know because I have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. We have not done anything wrong but try to do development that we thought the citizens want. Guess what? They didn't want it. Guess what? It stopped. They voted it down. You know, I saw this on the comment about the rail yard. You know, they came to the city and the city turned them down. What I said in that meeting, and Greg was in that meeting last Monday, I believe it was, I said 2 weeks after March 13th, when they told me to stop negotiating, the rail yard contractor called me and said, hey, we want to come and talk to you about your city. I said, well, you can come, but you can't come talk to me. You need to come talk to city council. Greg, is that not what I said, word for word? They have not been here yet. Right. Yes. And if a developer wants to, right. Right, you have. Yep.
I mean, that's just my opinion. You know, I got a lot of them.
You know, it's just,
jinxed us.
If you know me or don't know me, but know the people that talked about me, you know that we're not going to do anything wrong. We're not we're not like the federal government. We're not, so big that you can't talk to us. We are y'all. If you have if Patty has a problem right now and calls me, I'm going to go help her because that's who I am. Plain and simple. Guarantee you. So I have no hard feelings to anyone. I just want this to stop with what's going on Facebook. Use it to the positive. There's 3,000 people on there. 3,000 of y'all. Come up with some ideas. Call some developers. If y'all want a restaurant downtown, call them. Talk to them. But stop posting, why do we need a new city hall? We don't. Period. We still paying $1 million on this, correct? If we're not going to sell this 10 acres here, why do we want to move? Council, do y'all want to move? I would tell you as a city manager, I'm advising you, we're not going to move. I advise them. They make the decisions, period. And the 15,000 that Patty Wolf keeps talking about, it was for renderings, for the relocation, the redesign of the city hall and the library. So real quick, I know it's late, but I got to get this off my chest. All the employees are texting me, telling me they love me, and they think that's the kind of employees we have here. So when we had that meeting, and it wasn't a secret meeting, it's on Facebook. We had a secret meeting in Lawrenceville. It was, we just came from a developer that wanted to buy this, but never told us what he wanted to do. The council walked away from him. I don't know if, Lisa, you was a chair of, I think, economic development, and you said, Danny, we got to have a game plan. Next time somebody comes, we got to have something that we can give them. Okay, let's hire somebody. We hired Precision. This is what we want. This is the kind of city hall we want, we think, because everybody wants this 10 acres. So if we move, we got a game plan. Do we want to go behind this on the track? Do we want to go to the 4 acres we own? Do we want to go back to 4385 Pecan Street? All those are options. So they came up with the land right across from Town Green. That whole 4 acres, they're going to develop that. That's what we stuck with. Mr. Conley comes into town 2 months later, I believe it was, February, maybe a month later, and says, hey, we want to do something. That led to the whole change in our design because now we got a developer that wants to do something. So then we had to go back to Precision says, we got this plan, but now we got to change it. Well, guess what? When you change a plan, it costs money. We paid $15,000 to change that plan. I called everyone on council. I said, hey, I need $15,000, but technically I don't need your approval because it's $7,500 for the city hall, $7,500 for the library. They said, yeah, go ahead. Okay, we did it. Then they said, hey, we're having that December 16th meeting. Get as many drawings of the city hall you can get. I said, it's going to cost some money. It's going to cost another $7,500. Let's get it because we need to show the public what we want to do. We got to show them the vision. We got to have renderings. We got to give them my options. That's why I told this committee, you don't want renderings in your survey because it didn't work out for us too well on December 16th. So that was the other 75. So if you had to take 75, 75, and 75, you come up with $22,500 for Precision. That's what she's referring to as unauthorized. My limit in the city of Loganville is $7,500 to spend at my discretion. Point, period, in the subject. But I still go to them because we're a team. We are a team. It's not City Hall for Danny, as some people refer to it. It's not Ray's City Hall. It is our City Hall. You pay for it. So with that being said, there is no more development going on. Period. And Melanie just said, yay. That's right. None. If somebody wants to do it, they can come talk to these 7 members of mayor and council and get something done because I'm not going to talk to you. And I'm not going to talk to them until 6 of them or 4 of them tell me to do it. As Ms. Tribble told me, make sure you get them to do it in public. So, and one more thing, and I'm going to shut up, but I don't do anything. This was not my development. This was not my city hall. This is what the mayor and council directed me to do when I became city manager. Your number 1 priority, redevelopment downtown Loganville. They all will tell you that, the ones that were here. I did not make this up on my own. I was told by mayor and council. My bosses told me. They told me to stop. Guess what? What did I do, yo? I stopped. I come from the fire department. You do what you told without question, or people get hurt, period. So, employees, I've never heard so many kind words. You even got me crying up here, which I hate doing in public, but Chris, you started it, and I'm going to miss you. So, what's that? No, it wasn't. So, but I love y'all, and I love the citizens. But please, let's stand together, y'all. It's kind of like politics. You can vote for Biden, you can vote for Trump, but at the end of the day, we're still friends. And I'm not going to hate you for how you think of something. I'm not going to hate Melanie because she doesn't want a downtown development. I personally do. But that's okay. We can still be friends. Melanie came and put locks in my house that burned down when I was 22 years old. My mom died. And my step died within 6 months of that. I didn't know she did it. She told me when we were trying to condemn her property. I'm going to say it. I had a meeting with her. And she was happy as heck. The third time I told her, I said, the city council decided to go around you. I'm telling the truth, Melanie? And I came to Melanie and I said, these are your facts. This is what the council has told me to tell you. You cannot make an informed decision unless you know the facts, Melanie. They have said, start negotiating with you. And I did. We want you to go this route with the developer because he's going to pay you more. But at the end of the day, if they want to take your property, they're going to pay you fair market value. Here is the property appraisal that I did on your property. I gave you a copy of it, correct? Right. But you got one, though. But with the third time, the council said, Danny, we don't want to do that because it's just not right. So what do? They stopped it. They said, Danny, go tell her we're going to go around her. Okay. She was very passionate that third time. She was so happy. It was not personal then. It's not personal now. To her, it was very personal because it was her property. I get it. They got it. But I'm glad it stopped. When they told me to stop development, that was a weight off my shoulders y'all couldn't believe. Because that's all I did. All I did. Now all I'm doing is defending myself, which I shouldn't have to do. Defending them and defending the employees. So, thank y'all. If you got any questions, my email's on the website. Call City Hall, 466-3184. Any questions? I'll stay here, but if we need a hug, we'll hug. I know it's COVID, but I ain't scared of it. My wife's already had it once, so, but seriously, Melanie, you're running for city council. I commend you for that. Wish you the best luck, and I look forward, if you get elected, working for you. But we got to put our differences aside and move on, because we have not done nothing since January. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. And this has to be the longest city attorney's report we've had.
Right?
We broke the record.
Right? I have no actionable items other than that.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to say it during our city attorney's report, or you want to wait till community feedback?
I have a
Community feedback. Barbara, go ahead, Barbara. Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, ma'am. All right. Go ahead.
Are we going to be allowed to pre-vote at Meridian Park? I'm changing the subject.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Early voting, Meridian Park. Yes, ma'am. When? I got the dates. October 12th through Friday before the election. Correct. Okay. The whole month, October 12th. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead, city attorney.
I have nothing else tonight.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, the meeting has been adjourned. Now it's basically, wait a minute, we're not done yet. Do you think? No. Come on, man. Now, this is what the people has been waiting for. Chief Solis, I tell you, just the fact that he has patiently waited on us for almost 2 hours, he deserves your vote. Chief, you want to say a few words before? No? All right. Thank you so much. He's going to stick around for the questions. Heather Boyce with Piedmont Watt want to say a few words.
I can be loud too if I need to. Okay, so as we were kind of talking about this kind of goes along with this. So as we've gone through COVID, I'm the community relations manager at Piedmont Walton Hospital. And at the beginning of COVID, we had a lot of donations coming in. We had something every day for 2 months straight. And so at the time, all of our employees were like, well, we're not doing anything different. We don't feel like we deserve this. And then it tapered off. We didn't get anything else. And then July hit, and it really hit. And so our employees have been working really, really hard since then. And I didn't want to reach out and look greedy and say, hey, we need some more stuff. So I came up with a program for us. It's Adopt a Healthcare Worker. And we have about 500 employees. I have about 400 of them adopted so far right now. And all we're asking is that you reach out to me. I'll give you the name of one of our employees. And I'm going from nurses to doctors to housekeeping to security guards. I want to cover them all because they've all been there through all of it. And they've helped in one way or another. And so all we're asking is that you send a card or an encouraging note to them once a month through the end of the year. So I'm going to put some of these flyers back there on that back table. We'd really appreciate all of the kind words. As you can tell, a kind word goes a long way. So we'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to add, we got 37 people in this room. You said you need about 100 more, right? 100 more. I would highly recommend all 37 of us contact Heather. All right. Heather, you could, I'm going to sponsor one. So you could, there it is. All right. Thank you so much, Heather Boyce. And we got a few folks up here from the church, and they got a blood drive, correct? All right. Thank you so much for waiting on us.
I'm Angela, and this is Brianna and Clyde from the World Mission Society Church of God in Loganville on Brand Road. This coming Sunday, we're going to be hosting a blood drive through the American Red Cross. So for more information, please go to the Red Cross website. Right now, we have about 90 of our local church members who have signed up to volunteer to give blood. As you know right now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there's a decrease in blood drives and a decreased number in blood donors. However, the demand has not gone down. So to help communities like Loganville have a steady supply of blood for emergencies, the Church of God is stepping up, and we are going to host the drive. It's going to be from 9 to 3 at our location, and we definitely want to invite mayor, council members, city employees to come on out if you want to give our volunteers some words of encouragement. And for anyone else who wants to know what more you can do to donate blood during the pandemic, we recommend going to the Red Cross website. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Oh, Christy. That's right.
Okay, first of all, I would just also like to say that Danny Roberts is a great man. You could not ask for a better boss. He cares about his employees. He always makes sure that we are all taken care of. We have what we need to do our job successfully. So we'll end that with that. And want to invite you all to movie night tomorrow night on our town green. The movie starts at 7:55. The movie will be Disney Onward. We will have a few food vendors out there, so just bring a blanket and lawn chair and come join us. The next Friday night, which is September the 18th, we will have our last Groovin' on the Green concert with Electric Avenue and 80s band. Starts at 7:30, so please come join us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Have a great night. Hope to see you tomorrow night at the, anybody else, right? I'm assuming that's it. Hope to see, oh, Rita?
Rita, I thought you were.
Oh, okay. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Come by movie night. Thank you. Have a good